Midnight Voices presents Into the Sun, romantic sci-fi action thriller. Year 2163. The advertisement seemed impossible. Want to live on Mars. Now you can buy a home on Mars and we'll ship you there for free limited time offer. I clicked it half as a joke and somehow bought a Martian home. By the time I realized it was real, I had sold my Earth place and missed the transport. With nowhere else to go, I crashed with Carla, an old girlfriend turned close friend. We'd dated once years ago, drifted apart, but stayed in touch through our mutual obsession with self, held seminars and late-night philosophy podcasts. One night we were sharing pizza when her tablet rang. The caller ID said Bryce, which was odd because I was right there in the kitchen pouring sodas. Carla answered, and on the screen was me. Same face, same voice, same lazy grin, but he said he was calling from our new home on Mars. Carla played along, too stunned to argue. When the call ended, she stared at me. "You just called me from Mars." "I think it's an AI replica," I said slowly, watching my digital twin smile from the frozen video feed. The next day, the replica called again. And again. Each time it sounded more real. We checked the colony manifest. My name was listed among the arrivals on Mars, time-stamped and verified. Carla's eyes went wide. "It programmed you in AI life on Mars." That's when we decided to dig deeper. Disguised as sales reps for the Martian Realty Corporation, we slipped into the flight control center. Inside a restricted terminal, I hacked the ship navigation logs and froze. Passenger transports weren't heading to Mars at all. Their trajectories ended inside the orbit of Mercury, straight into the sun. Carla clutched my arm, whispering, "Oh God, why would they?" "To reduce the population," I said, "and make a profit doing it." I stared at my counterfeit self beaming from the terminal feed, living a fake life on a red planet that didn't exist. The truth burned brighter than the star they were feeding souls to. We made a pact right there, Carla and I, to expose the solar conspiracy before humanity followed me into the sun. Carla's hands trembled as she disconnected the console feed. "What you're saying is true," she whispered, "and millions of people are gone. Not living on Mars, gone." I stared at the flight log still glowing on the monitor. Departure after departure. Thousands of names. Whole families. "They built paradise ads," I said, "that sold tickets to oblivion." We slipped out of the control center before security could trace the terminal breach. Outside, night had fallen over the city. Neon lights flickered through the acid haze, reflecting in puddles on the cracked pavement. Drones hummed overhead, scanning for unauthorized activity. I pulled Carla close and whispered, "If they find out what we saw, they'll erase us too." We went underground, literally. An old subway tunnel beneath the city had been converted into a digital black market. Carla's contacts helped us find an off-grid data courier named Hex, a half-cyborg hacker with mirrored eyes. Hex agreed to help us leak the evidence in exchange for favor, deliver a stolen AI consciousness core to a buyer on the dark net. Carla hated the idea. "We're already on every watch list. You want to smuggle AI tech on top of that?" "We need his network," I said. "Without it, the world never hears about the solar conspiracy." We met the buyer at dawn on the roof of a derelict high-rise. The smog glowed gold with the rising sun, beautiful and deadly. The buyer never showed like a corporate security gunship did. "They found us," Carla gasped. Bullets rained down. We sprinted across the roof as explosions tore through concrete. Hex went down in a flash of light, his data core scattering digital sparks that streamed toward the clouds like fireflies. Carla grabbed my hand, pulling me toward the edge. "Jump!" We leapt. The air tore past us, and then the emergency drone I'd hacked earlier swooped beneath, catching us mid-fall. We sped through the canyons of glass towers, chased by gunfire and the rising dawn. When we finally made it to the desert outskirts, the city behind us looked like a dying ember. Carla leaned against me, breathing hard, eyes reflecting the horizon. "Bryce," she said quietly, "when this is over, when we tell the world, promise me something. Anything. Don't ever let them replace you again." I smiled, even as the first light of morning broke across the sand. No one could ever replace this. I kissed her, the sun flaring behind us like a promise and a warning. We rode into the wastelands with one mission left, broadcast the truth before the world followed a stream of Mars into the sun. We found refuge that night in the wreck of an old solar farm, its panels cracked and half buried beneath dunes of red dust. The air was thin, dry, humming faintly from the magnetic storms that danced across the upper atmosphere. Carla built a small fire from insulation foam and carbon rods while I pried open the derelict transmitter tower, hoping its old circuits could still carry a signal. "Even if we get it working," Carla said softly, "who's going to believe us? The world wants to believe in Mars. It's hope packaged with a refund policy." I tightened a cable and looked back at her through the glow of the fire. "Then we give them something stronger than hope." She arched an eyebrow. "And what's that?" "The truth." I slid the chip we'd still Hex's final data burst into the transmitter's core. Lines of code scrolled across the cracked display. Shipping manifests, orbital telemetry, passenger ID. Every log we'd seen in the control center and more. It even contained a line feed from the shipyard's millions of digital faces smiling from promotional videos. Already the archive has successfully relocated. Carla leaned close, her voice trembling. "Bryce, look at the timestamps. These ships haven't even launched yet." My heart pounded. "That means we can stop them." Outside, a horizon pulsed with light search drones. We didn't have much time. I routed the transmitter's power cells into a makeshift reactor loop. It would overload in minutes, but the signal might reach every broadcast satellite still running off the old solar grid. Carla grabbed my arm. "You'll fry yourself. Someone's gotta light the fuse." "Then we both do." We linked our biochips to the core, syncing our neural feeds. The transmitter flared alive, blinding white, then pushed a ripple of light across the sky like an artificial sunrise. Around the world, screens flickered. The truth spilled out. The false Mars program, the redirected ships, the population culling disguised as colonization. Every lie burned away in the light. When the overload came, the tower exploded in a silent flash that painted the desert glass. For a moment, everything was pure light, endless, soundless, golden. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't sure if I was alive. The dunes shimmered like oceans of molten glass, and the sky was streaked with auroras from the electromagnetic fallout. Carla lay beside me, breathing, alive, smiling faintly through the dust. "Did it work?" she whispered. I nodded weakly. "It's all out there now. The whole world knows." She brushed my cheek with a trembling hand. "Then we did it." Somewhere far above, satellites burned from overload, like sparks falling from heaven. The world would never be the same, but humanity had been pulled back from the brink. Carla looked toward the horizon, where the real sun was rising. "You know," she said softly, "for a minute, I thought we were in it." I laughed, voice hoarse. "Maybe we were, but we came back." We stood together, silhouetted against the dawn, two survivors, holding each other as the new day rose from the ashes of the old. The world had wanted to go to Mars. Instead, we took it into the sun.